said it ain't easy being a ninja.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? What's today? The 22nd, 23rd? I don't even know anymore.
In the future moment that somebody's listening to this, it could be something interesting to them to be able to count what the day is where they are.
I think so. It's important, really.
But it could be at night, matter of fact, actually.
Anyways, y'all, it's I'm Empty Turtle. I'm here with Dr. David Jubb. We got a special guest today, Sasha, from wherever, Portugal, and he's been so many places we don't even know where he's from.
Yeah. Albion on the British Isles. Albion. That's what it was. Albion.
There you go. The old Purseland. Anyways, we got a great subject today. Understanding Ozempic.
Yeah.
And it's so popular, right? Ozempic. Everybody's taking it now. It was designed for diabetics, but everybody's doing it for weight loss now. The celebrities are into it. Dr. David Jubb, say hello to our wonderful listeners out there. We love you.
Well, I think people who are interested seriously in feeling happy more and actually getting to the natural
Hello, everybody. How you doing? What's today? The 22nd, 23rd? I don't even know anymore.
In the future moment that somebody's listening to this, it could be something interesting to them to be able to count what the day is where they are.
I
And it
think
could
so.
be
It's
any
important,
day,
really.
But it could be at night, matter of fact, actually. So
Anyways,
people
y'all,
actually
it's I'm Empty Turtle. I'm here with Dr. David Jubb. We got a special guest today, Sasha, from wherever, Portugal, and he's been so many places we don't even know where he's from.
Yeah.
Albion on the British Isles. Albion. That's what it was. Albion.
There you go. The old Purseland. Anyways, we got a great subject today. Understanding Ozempic.
Yeah.
And it's so popular, right? Ozempic. Everybody's taking it now. It was designed for diabetics, but everybody's doing it for weight loss now. The celebrities are into it. Dr. David Jubb, say hello to our wonderful listeners out there. We love you.
Well, I think people who are interested seriously in feeling happy more and actually getting to the natural circumstance of things, I reckon it's really great to be, jumping into everything with everybody here in the audience, especially your distinguished audience. Of course, Sasha has a bit of an audience there in England and Portugal and things around the world. So, so you let a bit of a Freudian slip. You said purslane.
Well, I just heard it earlier. I don't even know what purslane is.
How did you slip purslane in? That's what I was trying to think, because we're talking about Zempia.
Look, earlier we're talking about purslane.
Yeah, but we're talking about feeling happy, feeling better. I mean, you know what?
I thought
people
it was
are
a
actually
place, like an ancient piece of land. What's it called?
Purslane.
Oh, purslane.
What is it?
Oh, purslane. Well, it definitely could be a name place and stuff, but it's a vegetable.
Oh,
which
you know what? Oh, my bad.
No, but it's extremely important. Matter of fact, when you're talking about Ozempic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so let's go at it. Let's understand Ozempic.
Yeah.
Well, what is Ozempic?
Well, everybody really needs substance to absolutely manage triglyceride and sugar that comes about from things being broken down, like into hydrogen and stuff. And lots of challenges existed because people today are eating a lot of complex carbohydrate and heavy carbs, and the very thing that would have been with their food would have been aromatic amino acids.
What?
Yeah.
So what do you mean by aromatic?
Aromatics is like fragrance, smells nice.
So fragrance and the aromaticness of things can actually affect our body.
Well, if there is no fragrance, there is no mineral transport.
What? It's too early to be blowing my mind already.
No, but you said purslane, and I mean Ozempic sort of caused people to feel better. You know what I mean? And they have some effect and everything like this, and it is mimicking glucagon, of course. So that's something which is quite remarkable, isn't it? But what about glucagon itself? Because you've got mimicking glucagon, right?
Well, glucagon, we make it? Or
yeah, you're supposed to have it.
Oh, we eat it? Where do we get it from?
Well, purslane is where people got it from in the past.
How does that work? For me to say something, was that foreshadowing?
Well, I didn't know. I'm not sure, but I think that was pretty good how you just slipped purslane in there, because
it was fantastic.
But it's an example of something which you've got such incredible molecules where this is. You see, you've got essential fatty acids and things like this, which is unbelievable in this vegetable.
I had a girlfriend that used to shop at Purseland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, purslane, it's sort of like something which you've got, which is in your bag, and it's like a carry, and it's well and true that you have to have it, and it's going to give you the way to go.
Okay,
it's going to give you the lane.
About purses.
No,
it's
going to give you. You're going to be in the. You're going to be in the lane. You're going to be in the right lane. But purslane. But so just as an example, there's so many things, of course, like where food is, but aromatics, first of all, tryptophan and phenylalanine and tyrosine are the three, fragrant amino acids, and they are the only ones that transport zinc or copper or anything that's like this. And so aero life colloid in the forest, if you live there, massive amount of minerals you would have got just because you just took a sniff. You're sniffing air, which has got aerolife colloid in it, versus like, no, you're in the domestic situation, you're just getting air out of a can. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe not right, but it could be aerolife colloid, you see. And now,
Can we
what would
bottle
be,
it?
well, things that like we're talking about Azempia, could be examples of like things that are small molecules, which really are important to us. So we don't think about it because, like, imagine just for a moment you've got 10 cubic centimeters. It's sort of like, what's 10 centimeters? I think it's about 1.5 inches. Okay. By 1.5 inches. All right. Cube, and you have life colloid in there, which has got the most surface area of anything you could find on the Earth. Okay.
Life colloid.
Yeah, life colloid.
Okay.
So you put that life colloid in there, and now you open up every single little colloid in just a straight line, just in only one direction, right? So,
real quick, if you can remind our audience why life colloids are so important, just real quick, and then we can go back to it.
Oh, well, life colloid simply is a colloid of life is very small. It's the first building block of life itself. Very small. It's the smallest building block as a colloid of life, and this comes to be within the visible wavelength of our cells to see. And so we kind of start to say that about something when it's around about 460 nanometers or something. It's pretty big, but okay. So that's a colloid of life.
Okay.
It's sort of like a tiny little cage, and you can't cut it with a diamond knife or anything like that, and you can't get rid of it by heating or doing anything that's like this.
Wow.
I mean, it actually what goes back up into the atmosphere and cause rain to be and this sort of thing. But the colloid of life, which was in the dinosaurs, for instance, which was only just recent, but they all are colloids which make up you and I today.
Dinosaurs had these
And
too?
it's a colloid of life which has life, and you and I vicariously have life because we're commanding all the colloid of life that we have within ourselves. But that colloid of life aggregates, fuses, and differentiates into a red blood corpuscle, for instance, or a red blood corpuscle can go through a pleomorphism and use aggregation, fusion, and differentiation to go into a leukocyte, for instance, like a white blood cell, let's say, immune cell. And so that immune cell can pleomorph into more a phagocytic cell, and these are things which is fact of things which goes on and doesn't require DNA to have be done.
When we take Ozempic, is that it?
Well, many small things that life colloid on a level like this. You could imagine Mexico City, and suddenly like there's a bit more traffic that flow through the cities.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so when traffic could flow through the cities, people could get about their business and this sort of thing, and transport into the station sort of thing, you see. And so transport and everything sort of gets on. And these are molecules and things which have been caring to be focused on to some degree, and what could people to have where some helpedness is like that, like you're talking about Zempia. And it mimics the very things which is ordinary that you would have. So, for instance, like, did people have glucagon in the past?
And of course we did.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but like,
And not on purpose.
No, but like, how come we need glucagon? Why do you need glucagon? That's the question. See, because you said understand Zempia.
Ozempic.
Yeah, so
Ozempic.
okay, so what's the reason why we need glucagon now and we didn't need it in the past because we had it?
Our diet.
Okay, well, I think you're onto something there.
I think
What if you did get it, but you used a lot of it up?
What? So you cannot get it
You could
use it up?
Yeah, you could get some too and use it up as well. So what if you got some and you didn't really never to use it up? You always had a spare bank account of it.
Yeah, like a lost savings account.
Spare bank account.
Okay.
So like where you've got a fitness, what's the definition of fitness?
Well, that's a great question. I would say keeping in shape.
A great VO2 max.
Right?
Yeah.
Getting in shape.
A good VO2 max with good circulation.
Good oxygen ability. So what you've just said is good. So it means that something must be on what's ordinary.
Well, fitness could also be the ability to fit into somewhere.
Well, you've got to have something that might go. That's right, to go
Adaptation.
beyond what's ordinary.
Adaptability.
Yeah, so you have to have fitness represents the ability that what's capacity that we have beyond what's ordinary. And so that is extraordinary. So why not have extraordinary? Because you could. Because, for instance, where various fruits and vegetables are, they have these very small molecules. But the reason why we don't have them much is because it is cooked out.
Whoa. So glucagon is abundant. We just cook it out of our meals.
Yeah, we cook a lot of these small molecules out because, like, if we come back to life colloid, if you just take the life colloid and you open them up and you're going to put a straight line, it will stretch 17 times from here to the moon. You see?
What?
Yes?
That's far.
Yeah, that is. Now, if you cook it, it will just shrivel the distance from here to Phoenix.
Man, wow. Talk about a major loss.
Yes, of course, because Phoenix is just around the corner
That's
here.
right.
With the moon, you've got to go there 17 times. That's just
It ain't
a
cheap
burden.
going to the moon.
No, I know. But, okay. But you see, right down there inside that small space, you've got a massive, massive surface area. And some of these things are the most expensive substances because they protect people where in labs are, where nervine and things are and such. And they completely surround and cover and neutralize stuff and things, you see. So some substances like this, like the life colloid that we have, is quite like that itself. But it's an interesting substance because when you find it, of course, it's like a very red, black radical, matter of fact, and slow but sure, where the sunlight is and things, it slowly becomes more and more dark. But then if you let it go, it'll become white, like incredible. So it's very strange, but like a substance which you could just rub straight into your skin. It's incredible. It's sort of like, well, the only way that you can imagine this, if you could just remember, is like you've got a jar, a big one, and you've got a pickled redwood in there.
Pickled redwood.
Yeah, the wood has been pickled for 10,000 years.
Interesting.
Okay, so now
Who would do that?
Well, things that Earth has. There's deposits of these things. There used to be these Nadi points in nature, and so various names come along like mumia, and suddenly this is the most magical substance, and people search for it. And they try to think, oh, this has to come from maybe someone's bones, and you've got lots of people searching all through history for mumia. But who could find it? It was only very incredible that someone could find deposits of this, but it would be the most sought after because it's got such a rich array of colloid in it. Life colloid, it's got 130 species of gene. So like you and I, we only have 23 base pairs of gene. That's it. I mean, very few. Orchids and flowers have more DNA than you and I do.
What?
So, but yeah,
No
because,
way. I
well,
don't believe
because...
it.
No, I know,
I do.
but well, we could. But no, we do have it. It's just that it's in our intestine. So, I mean, yeah, because 42% of your DNA is your cells, but then everything else that's there is like that's a pretty big more percentage. You know what I mean? And that's not you. You see, that is life colloid, which has got its own DNA. So
And
down there,
that's what's taking the Ozempic, stimulant glutide and glucagon or whatever the heck, and that's what's taking it through the
when you
body.
cook it, it all could be coagulated, congealed, and enzyme resistant. So it can't be sort of snipped apart. So a lot of things which once it's cooked, like let's say,
Potato.
Those are things which really isn't much going on there. You can break all that stuff down pretty good, and actually something like that will turn into a bacteria pretty good and quick, smart. So it's sort of like a potato starch or something that's like this. That could become a life colloid again quite pretty easy, actually.
Well, how you were pointing that out, that there's not a lot going on there. I've had a lot of people tell me that.
Right. Meaning a potato actually... no, I mean, to be saint-like, like you're pointing out, I think it's rare, actually. It's not a common thing, but you shouldn't be boasting.
There's not a lot going on there. I've had a lot of people tell me that.
Right. Meaning a potato actually, no, I mean, to be saint-like, like you're pointing out, I think it's rare, actually. It's not a common thing, but you shouldn't be boasting about that. You know what I mean? but but
well, now you tell me.
well, empty. I think that's very nice. But being empty, the colloid of life has a space within itself, and that space is resonant of its cavity, and a resonance across space exists on a JC quanta, and where things are impacted, which is superposition, it's faster than light, and so you're getting reactions across the body and these sorts of things, which only could be explained more through its broadcastness and things. So suddenly we're starting to understand a little bit more about frequencies and these sorts of things. But coming back to even just like metals, like we have, which isn't metal because it seems to be an element because it passes through life and it shapes it. So it gives it a more ovoid, soft appearance more where it's assembled itself. And it's a little different, but it's kind of similar weight, but its shape is quite, and it might often be a tiny bit more dense.
All this is happening with Ozempic. Okay, let me ask you. Diabetes, they created it for diabetes. Why? I mean, so for diabetics, what does it do besides, limit?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's so good.
Feel,
Thank you. I
make you feel.
Yeah, right. Because you know what these people and everybody is really excited about? Glucagon. Now, everybody knows about insulin, don't they?
Yes.
But
well,
they do. But what about glucagon? Because mostly people need glucagon.
Interesting.
Right.
And so is that in the Ozempic or something? No, it's something that's kind of mapped after glucagon. Or similar to it, works like that.
The seminologue, which is there, is sort of something which could be got from various things.
The semaglutide?
Yeah, it could be got from ryegrass, for instance, or various grasses that people ate, like long grain rice called rice, Manitoban grass seed that grows in Manitoba was one of the places which Canada comes in an old tongue to mean. Of course, it means tall grasses and a land of this. And that's what it had. It had these tall grasses, and they were the most traded sorts of grain in the world during a time past, which ships show and things. But we're in a time which the lakes and all sorts of things really didn't exist like what they do today. But you've got to see more how proximate coastlines were and this sort of thing as the earth grew from itself. So for instance, the Appalachian Mountains is connected to the Ural Mountains that goes through Russia and things, and is connected to the Swiss Alps. That's connected to the Atlas Mountains.
I've heard that
You
song.
see?
I've heard that
Yeah,
song.
and so everything is drifted apart from where it was, but that was just one mountain range, which you could look and see. Quite beautiful. But the oceans have grown, and in the last 10,000 years, quite considerable, matter of fact, and certainly in the last 75,000 years, massively, you see, because we really didn't have the oceans and things. But coming back to these molecules, like these such small molecules, all we just said was that these people really didn't cook too much. You see, they did have food stuff where sauces were and stuff which had enzymes in it, and so that you could get some enzyme and stuff, and it's enzymatic value. Because what happens when you cook something? It becomes congealed, it becomes coagulated, it becomes enzyme resistant, it becomes hydrophobic, and so suddenly something which also to its three-dimensional structure, which its stereoscopics, has changed radically, you see. So nutraceutical, which is a new term they're coming along, it is absolutely the science of giving this molecule to you with its zeta potential and everything, you see, like it does if you eat okay. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so...
Yes.
Yeah. So because suddenly people felt real good when they had a bit of purslane, and they lost a lot of weight, and they felt really good, and they just really did not want to eat anything, like
And
you
so
said.
that's such a big side effect. Why is that such a big side effect?
Because you've got a whole range of things which are so small, honest, but these molecules are so important because you can only get something done where you've got glucagon, like what we're saying. You can only get glucose and things that's like that from glucagon, the hormone that's needed to break glucogen down, you see?
Glucogen.
Yeah. And so, you've got attachment to hunger. and so suddenly, kind of somebody doesn't have that needy feeling like no.
Attachment to hunger. That's what's wrong with this country.
Well, all these things cause parts of our brain and things to be engaged where things are. But what drives you to eat, or anyone else,
Need,
and what's the appetite, and how much of that is a social affair,
Oh,
and how much, so that eating has sort of got various sort of attributes to the whole thing. But
I don't socialize anymore, and I'm losing a ton of weight.
you've got your appetite, and it's controlled by a nucleus, like it's the super chiasmatic nucleus in the brain, and it's really based on light, dark cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's true. So if you have the light on when you sleep, that's maybe not going to be right. Or if you
something's wrong with that person.
or if you've got a blue or white light on at night, that's going to be not good. It should be more red, because you need melatonin.
I love melatonin.
Yeah, so there's a mother molecule called pro-opiomelanocortin, and that's the biggest word that you know up to this point.
Who?
Pro-opiomelanocortin. Can you say that?
Say that again.
Please tell. Pro-opiomelanocortin.
That's a T-shirt right there. Pro-opiomelanocortin.
Now,
what?
How many letters are in that?
I don't know. What is
There's
it?
19
It's a
letters.
hormone, right?
That might be one of the
19
languages,
letters. It's a
but it's
hormone,
okay.
right?
Pro-opiomelanocortin, it's a mother molecule in your body.
Molecule. That's
Yeah,
another
right.
T-shirt
Yeah.
right there. Mother
So,
molecule.
if you've got the mother molecule, are you feeling good?
I'm always feeling good.
Yeah, well, you could have the mother molecule.
No,
see?
I think I was born with it.
So it goes certain levels of pro-opiomelanocortin. It actually is 3 cleavage sites. You've got pro, meaning for, opia, which is opiates, and so opiates are made in
I'm
various
pro-opiate.
parts of our body, like
Alright.
our ventricles of our brain and other places. And also our immune cells make them and things. And so that's opium. And then you've got melatonin,
All right.
right?
Melanin.
And then you've got
Cortisol.
cortisol,
We love
corticoids.
cortins, and cortisols. Okay.
Is cortisol
So you've got,
good or bad?
oh, well, you need these things, which we can't say that they're bad. You
Okay.
do need, but somebody could have excess sorts of conditions that go on where
What's stress? What do you call stress? Excessive
well,
cortisol?
there's EU stress would be where people are having a good time and they don't know how to turn the good time off.
Okay.
So that's a form
of
of EU stress.
excessive cortisol.
Well, where somebody says, "Oh, I got a good rest," it's sort of like, okay, so they're looking after themselves. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
and
you know,
what's this 19th letter word?
pro-opiomelanocortin.
And we were at cortisol.
Yeah, cortisol is sort of like a cleavage site, which is coming from your adrenal glands.
Oh, my adrenaline gets going when I see.
Yeah, well, if you use a lot of it, it may be too much, especially if you eat a lot of salt and stuff, because it's going to rob a lot of it, especially if you eat only cooked salt, rock salt. But if you have sun, wind, evaporated ocean salt, that could be transmutated, and that's the answer where a lot of things are. I know one day we'll have a bit of a program about that, but there's a big mountain there, and something can't get past it. It's sort of like a colloid, like a huge pyramid of stuff behind the brush bushes, which is where you're supposed to get like airflow and gases like down there at the capillary level. And then there's these brush borders and they're tiny small glyaxils, and when they rot, they smell sulfury. And that is the smell that actually many could have, in fact, as part of the odor which they have. That's what dogs can smell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Well,
hound
I'm
dogs.
not a dog.
No, hound dogs could it's like a brick you left behind, and it would trace that over 1 week or even a month where you went. It's like you left a brick behind.
So it helps them.
We're leaving particles behind as we go. You see?
I'm
It's like
always
you're a
wondering
comet.
where I left a brick.
It's a comet, like with gas particles just moving behind you. But in Australia or in England, they call that. What do they call it? They call it
It's a natural instinct.
ponging.
Ponging.
Ponging, yeah, it's called ponging.
All right.
When you pong, you know what I mean? It could be overwhelming, something a bit not quite right. I'm not sure, but
I think it's street lane
it's
for
ponging.
ping pong players.
Well, ponging is when something is just a bit over the top on your nose. But
You just got ponged.
but anyway, so Gerolin is being triggered, but it's signaled when leptins, like we've had a small show about, and these kinetins, very small molecules as well, that make you feel good and everything could become from, you've got another substance called N-acetylneurominic acid, which is a surfactant that our species has within ourselves, which is vitamin L, and you make all the other vitamins from this, you see. But there's many vitamins, coming back full circle to the small molecule, Ozympia, and these molecules which are missing. So where somebody has it as in a drug form, over time it's supposed to be just something that you could use to help where you are, but not be something that you use forever. But could you understand that somebody get a benefit, and now they could understand that something is variable and controllable, and you could use these things in a way that you could be helped where you are, but move toward more having a proper perfect detachment in life, and so not having attachment hunger, which then tricks us into all this don't, won't, can't, should, try, but must only, and that stuff costs a lot of energy by itself.
It's funny when you're talking about the molecules and how small they are. Now I can finally understand when people say it's the little things in life, right? Because you're talking about these molecules.
Well, it's more like what has taken your breath away, like you're pointing out. I mean,
Yep.
Like versus how many breaths did you have?
Well, it sounds like an old Berlin song.
To be brimming away. And brunning and brunner gland and brunning, did you brunner? It means actually that you didn't break your fast.
Oh, really?
Right, that's when to have a brunner. Would in the old English, it would mean that you didn't break your fast.
Okay.
It meant that you only had one meal a day, basically. But if appetite is more controlled and everything, it's sort of you've got plenty of niacin and things like this from the food stuff, and also to the life colloid you have in your intestine that produce these things. But it can't if you're eating a lot of dead food. You see.
Mm.
So dead food could be just like a lot of cooked food, and there isn't anything got any enzymatic value in that. But what if you put a sauce over that? Does that help? Yes. It does. And then sauces happen to be often the most condiment and the most nutritious thing that somebody would have on the table.
Wow. So my A1 steak sauce.
Well, if you had Tabasco sometimes in your back pocket, it could make soggy cardboard taste delicious.
Okay.
Incredible. And give you some value.
Hey, I'm going to use that.
Give you a lot of silica. These people have good skin, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They generally have very good skin, these people, because they eat a lot of silica.
Celebrities have good skin.
Well, they must be eating peppers and things that's like that, because it's sort of the shiny sort of thing that's on the outside of stuff and things. But melanocortin and the hypothalamus, really could be just switched off often. But the appetite really is regulated, and all of these nutrients like niacin, which is nicotine, nicotinic niacin, acetylcholine. Well, that is niacin. I mean, that's how a lot of people are getting niacin, matter of fact.
Through smoking? Mm-hmm.
Well, studies that showed professionals that used toxic material like builders, they had impregnated coppers in woods, they had asbestos in sheetrock and stuff. But people who smoke Marlboro, they didn't end up with black lung disease.
Well, there you go, folks. You heard it here first. No. Smoking is good.
Well, it's just absolutely that the nutritional value that somebody had. No, but you can see that vaporizing now and people's understanding of even aromatics is starting to become more aware.
I don't want to get sued because some mother's kid heard this and he starts smoking. Then the mother's like, "Hey, you said this, and now my kid's smoking. I'm going to sue you."
Yes,
so I was just kidding, folks.
Well, first of all, because the culture where someone was, they would have never smudged. But in the ancient past, this was what you did. You smudged. You see,
eye for an eye.
Well, they would bring a beautiful fragrance to be like with tobacco, and they would put cinnamon and other things with it a bit, and that would be just incredibly gorgeous what they would put into the air. It's an interesting thing that tobacco leaf itself is not like hardly any other leaf. It's so remarkable. When you work with it, you'll see it's like a steak in a way, actually, sort of thing. But the idea that that somebody could vaporize, like you're pointing out, and get nutrient value, this can help the lungs. So if you vaporize bicarbonates and things that's like that, your lungs can get rid of all the stuff that's in there. But these people have very clean lungs, like you point out, because they're actually vaporizing things. Well, vapors like eucalyptus and wintergreen and these sorts of things would be put into balms and stuff.
Okay.
But it's the thing that you smell, and what happens when you smell that? It opens up your nose. It opens up your nose. Okay, so it opens up what you know, you see.
Yeah.
But if you stop eating just for a short moment, it's like helpful because it actually could give your pancreas a rest.
Oh, man.
So
mine
some
needs a
things
rest.
could cause you just to
know
feel
that.
like you could give your pancreas rest. And how good is that? Do you know what I mean?
My
Because
pancreas needs
because your
a
pancreas really needs a rest. But the pituitary hypothalamus adrenal axis, you know, and where organs are and everything, and edema.
Right down the road.
And edema. So a lot of people have a lot of water between the cells, or they don't have enough water in the blood, and the reason is because they don't have enough plasma.
So how do we get more plasma?
Well, when you eat food stuff, which could give you these smaller molecule, now you're starting to have kinetin, you're going to have leptin and these things, like our program was talking about. And what do these do? They cause you to feel
Satisfied.
they feel good, right? So like, it's like you're going through the day and
To
it's not
get
like
plasma or something. What's something that you can eat or drink to boost your plasma?
Oh, like imagine that somebody had a very small shot of pickled beet juice.
Really? That's it?
Well, that's got nitrous oxide in it. It's quite incredible. It could have gone through a bit of heat and things like that, but you've really got still a lot of value in that, basically.
Isn't
Yes.
that what, laughing gas, nitrous oxide?
But if you put a little beet into a juice, small, and it was juiced a bit or something, you know, or you just have a bit of beet. I mean, that's so gorgeous. Pickled beets are incredible, by the way.
Okay.
But
you heard it here, folks. First, folks.
but what about ginger?
Beets.
What about when, like, a dressing, like some of these dressings, like with ginger sesame, for instance?
Sounds good.
Stunning.
Sounds
Stunning. You see, no, but we need to change our flavors around because, like, what if we could say have an Italian food every day?
I would not complain.
No, I know. Okay, but you would if you just had English food, right?
And you know, I won't complain.
These
Just
people,
food every day.
yeah,
is
somebody
fine
has to
by
have a
me.
bit of a tradition behind
Food every day
something
is
they
good
do.
by me.
But
I'm happy with that. I don't care.
But what if you're given water once a week?
Yeah.
And everybody did, but then one group just got a bit of like Rejuvilac. I mean, they were just talking about like cabbage floating around a bit of water. Okay. But they just drank the water that the cabbage floated around in, and they just had 3 glasses of that, and the others, otherwise they just had water, everybody. Except one group had some Rejuvilac. That's all.
What is Rejuvilac? Is that energy drink?
Like cabbage fermented into water a bit.
With lemon in it, maybe?
Yeah. Well, it's going to have sort of lemon and
what's that going to do
acids
for
and
you?
things. It caused people to have an Ozempia feeling.
Oh, yeah?
What?
Yeah, it does it.
Ozempic feeling.
Well, Ozempia feeling. Yeah, right.
Because I think there might be an Ozempic out there.
Oh,
We're
well,
not
there's,
talking about that. We're talking about Ozempic.
there are brand names and things, but they're all mimicking and doing what they can to
you know,
cause people to understand
can we
more about
bottle this?
glucagon.
We need to bottle this and sell it.
Yeah, well, this is the
Crap
future.
juice.
This
No, I'd like
no,
to read.
well,
what is it called?
nutraceuticals.
Rejack?
Yeah.
No, nutraceuticals are
Rejuvilac,
absolutely substances which are going to go straight into your DNA.
Sounds like everybody needs some.
Yeah, that's right.
Would
But
you
this
call
is
it
like
a
you have to know how to cold process.
because that's the name of it. Once you tell
Rejuvilac.
me.
Oh, Rejuvilac.
No,
Yeah,
Rejuvilac.
rejuvenation has these
You said Rejuvilac.
kinetin in it, and it has these leptins in it, and these things make you feel good, basically.
All right, so be on the
overall.
lookout for
But,
Jubb Talk Rejuvilac.
But
drink.
leptins also could have ubiquitin molecules which help correct and turn your DNA around and switch off aerobic glycolysis, which is like fermentation, and switches back on oxidative metabolism instead.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so there's things that's like this which truly is remarkable, you know what I mean? And
Oh, absolutely. All right, and we're going to be right back. We're going to take a break. Remember, jubtalk.printify.me. We put out a couple T-shirts, a couple coffee mugs, because I'm a coffee drinker now, and I'm going to want me a Jubb Talk coffee mug.
Well, you could be like a great coffee drinker because
I
coffee
am now.
is the second highest antioxidant substance that people consume
That is
in
why
the
I drink coffee.
world. It's the second highest.
That's why I drink it, because of you now. Thanks for helping me now. I didn't get all the antioxidants I want. No advertisement here. We love coffee. Be right back. All right, folks, we are back. This is Understanding Ozempic and Stuff. And our special guest, Sasha, wants to start us out, or he doesn't want to, but I want him to ask a question. He's got a really good question for Dr.
Yeah,
Jubb.
what the question is, Sasha?
So the question was, like, say for instance, maybe someone's on a budget, and they want an easy way that they could influence the same things as Ozempic without being addicted and maybe having to take it all their life. Aging lactoferments, aging, say, juices, or aging things like spices, flowers, roots, even maybe in a blend. The same kind of effect that Ozempic maybe would have for us, but like just generally good, no awful side effects, no dependence.
Well, one thing is first, everything that's ever been designed and things has got to given people clues and learned about things. So, for instance, nobody would have known about opiates, but suddenly we start to come to be aware of lactocarium and all sorts of opiates that would be ordinary in food. And what's the reason for it? Because it makes you feel good.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why it's so important.
You've got leptins and ubiquitin and molecules, kinetin and things, glucagon, like we were talking about, indole molecules, which really give you a longer lifespan, no question about it. It's absolutely to the degree to which what sort of habits that like somebody could have, like you were saying, well, that's the answer where anything is, isn't it? I mean, the habit that everybody has, but given that most people can find it not easy to change the habits that they have, that's the first thing. What are you saying and how can you, which is wonderful, to cause people to be able to feel free more where they are somewhat, to be focused on the things which could be better for them because they have better habit of consuming things. But, well, life colloid and live food are things that's like that because it's just low methionine and low phosphate. And one day we maybe could have a show a bit about that. But sticking to the topic a little bit, like when you ferment things, of course, you're crystallizing. It's sort of like resting it. It's kind of often kind of maybe putting it in the dark even. Yes. And some things don't ferment, in fact, like
I know beer does.
Amberines and things which go through another process of a hydrolysis instead. And so, so there's different processes, but basically you really can't get over having a habit of properness about the dark and the light cycle. That's one thing. But the intestine, part of this reason is because in your intestine you've got variable transmutation going on of one element into another. And for instance, like the mineral element, like where life colloid is transmutated, and you've got oleic acid, for instance. Oleic acid, is 8 chains, carbon chain there, and you've got a stable fat. And that's so stable, matter of fact, that it's so stable it just doesn't want to do anything. It's going to be around for a long while. And then you and I, we could make all of our essential fatty acids from this in our intestinal tract.
Okay.
But that would require you to have proper Brunner gland function, which makes things smaller and these things. So what we're talking about, how could something be made so it's direct and it can have its effect? It's really small, matter of fact, when you could think about it. It really is actually. So first we should think there's very small molecule, and only small amounts of that is a lot. Like what we said was 1.5 inches basically cubed could stretch if you open up the colloid into a straight line. The circumference, you open up that and you open up to a straight line and you add it all together, it would add up 17 times the distance from here to the moon. But if you cook it,
that's far.
It could just only be from here to Houston, you see. So that's sort of like far too, but it's like a short distance, basically.
To the moon?
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Houston.
So plant fiber, you've got soluble and insoluble fiber and things. You've got drought-resistant sorts of conditions which plants use, and it shows that, like, if you go through a little bit of cold abrasiveness or shock abrasiveness, or you put yourself to the body of the test of, like, I'm going to hold my breath like you do, but you're teaching people about this wave that we all should have, which is this epsilon wave, and lambda wave, which, and we could do a program a bit to talk a bit about that. But look, plant fibre is converted into hyaluronic acid. It's so important because you're going to want to bind moisture. And this is part of the reason why that's as a substance which should be put into lotions and things that's like that. I mean, I always would make serum and things like that for the skin and things which has hyaluronic acid in it. But there's another small, very, very small molecules, just to give you an example. Caustic environments exist, but you've got friendly life colloid, which, like Bacillus subtilis, for instance, which aged element can have, and skin formula and things that's like this. But skin and lung and intestines contain 50% of all the hyaluronic acid that you have in your whole body. And so life colloid in the intestine have to be present because you've got to really be able to produce things. And you've got streptococcus, and you've got zooepidemicus, and you've got Bacillus subtilis and things that's like this. But leptins they produce, which act upon your brain. So you've got to have life colloid in your intestine, and when you do normal, you actually got all the things which is natural for someone like an athlete. We're talking about somebody who's perfect, like relative. They maybe transport, between 2 and 4 liters of oxygen per minute or something.
Nobody's perfect.
Well, it's total. It's sort of being more total, you see. But you could think about what would it be when you really don't have a need. It would be just because you'd be on the mind, because that's all that you would have to do to have no need. And substances which allow us to do that are leptins and
like
kinetin,
and
and substances like this, you see.
If you're smiling, you obviously have some in your body.
Leptin's concentration could peak a few hours before the onset of light. And so there's various moments in the day where they peak, and very similar to melatonin. If we don't feel hunger, attachment, where something is, or attachment, hunger, it's disappeared because somebody feels complete inside, you see, and they're coming more from this. The brain is sort of very more giving you a capacity to be feeling motivated, and so you're learning, you're growing, you're achieving, you get recognition and things like this, which you just do day in, day out, because that's what's so important to you. It's sort of really your own personal development. But if you could expend energy, and you could be modest with what this is, and you could actually apply it to the very thing which you could, like you get a birdie when you went golfing or something, or you slam dunk something, sort of thing. But you could, like you and I, we have a sweet spot in ourselves where it is like you throw a dart at a dartboard, and God help us, it's like it went where you thought it would go. And so you've really got glucagon, like we start the program a bit, a very small molecule, and it's an enzyme. And when it's in an enzymatic state, like everything is, it's very small. But when we heat things, it's sort of run a bit of amok where stuff is. So, for instance, amygdalin, which is B17, is got to be in its life food state because it has zeta potential to come into the cell and be small enough and be transported there. And that zeta sort of has a slip so it can pass through things without being affected itself by the field that's around it. And so these are things which you'd have to kind of get things, of course, into the DNA. So these are things that are so small, but these are the things which is missing because most of us, we eat a lot more cooked food and things than we should. But if you eat some cooked food, why not have a live food sauce with it?
Why not?
A sauce. So a sauce is going to help with everything, trust me, honest to God. And if it's made with olive oil or made with oleic acid, like palm or coconut, avocados are good examples, those are fantastic oils which could help you make all the essential fatty acids that you need in your intestine.
Oh,
so
and
if
I love sauce, let me tell you, I love sauce. But it was a problem back in the day because I used to, when I would eat, I would really hit the sauce.
Yeah, but you see, sauce is what the
That's a
very
problem.
thing is, the sauce. But let's go to the sauce, which you've done today. The sauce would be actually correcting DNA and things, but also too, like was mentioned, how do people go by where things are? But you've got habits and things, and maybe that's another
have a
show that
solution
we
for
talk a
that.
bit about
I have
it,
a solution.
because a lot of addictions are going on, aren't
Yeah,
they?
no, and I have a solution. If you have a bad habit, replace it with a badder habit. You know what I mean? And
Well-
I mean badder as in good habit.
Yeah, because if you have enough, like life food, for instance, you've got leptins, and that might be your lifesaver.
Oh, it's definitely my life.
Be lifesaver. Yes, because you could feel better, and suddenly, oh my God, this is helping me because I could feel like more moving and more like life and things. You've got theanine, which is another amino acid, and you've got a whole range of things which can have the same effect as what glucagon does and leptins and
Could
things.
you make leptin into a tea form?
Yeah, of course. Well,
So you can make leptin into maybe
yeah.
an iced tea?
yeah, well, various
Like
teas
leptin iced tea?
have got very small molecules and things that's in it, like ginger and lemon are outrageous. You see.
That's nuts.
No, yeah. So it's really you only need 6 carbon atoms, you need 6 oxygen atoms, and you need 12 hydrogen atoms. That's all.
I have abundance.
It's very
of
small.
all those. I have
Right.
abundance.
But 6 oxygen for every 12 hydrogen units. You've got an interesting thing going on. But the big three, all like these tyrosine, amino, and phenylalanine and tryptophan, are the very aromatic amino acid. When you've got chopped herb and some few things over, things that's like that, and it's just done after the dish has been cooked a bit or something, or it's been prepared with some of that in it, and it takes time for that to be destroyed. It's quite good, it could last a lot, but if you've got fragrance there, probably you've still got enzyme value and things like this.
I think we
So
need to get you a cooking show.
you've got oxygen atoms which make up sulfur. When you put 2 oxygen atoms together, it makes sulfur. When you put water over incandescence, what do you smell afterward? Sulfur. It's combined those 2 oxygen atoms. So you see, this sort of thing is going on. Like, that's one thing I wanted to say, because during the break I thought, oh wow, transmutation is something very important.
Biological transmutation.
Because, for instance, to give you a good example, like a 3-day-old egg that's fertilized has only got so much in it. Now, if you measure it 10 days after, yes, you're going to see it's 600% more minerals and everything in the egg, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got to see, where did all of that come from? It didn't come from the eggshell.
No.
You see? No. You see, it was
Something,
transmutated one into another.
Came
And
from the
that's
chicken.
kind of what we're talking about.
Something I just read in your notebook actually piqued my interest massively, and I had to interject with it, which was about life colloid. I guess the things that you've just been talking about, and consistently towards epigenetics.
Epigenetic
Yeah.
factor, meaning just like what's changing the punctuation of the way the DNA is read. Very important, because you could silence or activate gene and things, and this is what these methylated molecules do. And to get those molecules and things, what in hydrolation is, where things are broken down, you've got heat and cold shock sorts of protein and things, which are the very things which are found in the membrane of plants, which have to go through drought resistance and things, and have good drought resistance and things is like that. So these are molecules which can be found into the very dense proportion that could assist to cause these to be more present where the blood is. So, for instance, life colloid itself has every single amino acid that you could think about, but life hydrate, which is another product, which is vitamin L, that people could look into more, that makes hydrogen, 3 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. It makes a water which is so got a structure, and it's got a gelatinous structure. One is positive, one is negative. You have a barrier between it with water,
Makes
and
sense.
it passes north negative through itself in toward where the south positive is. Now you build a bank account of what this is, and that can build protons from hydrogen, which it does. So you have a proton pump producing proton, you see. And so these are things which is naturally occurring in our body. I mean, you've got endoplasmic reticulum, and you've got ribosomes and things, which are tiny small molecules of hydrogen and carbon and oxygen rolled along and become sticky. And these are things which make up protein. And so the proteins that we have are made from ribosome, and you have these tiny little sumo molecules, which is on the inside of the nucleus. Now, for me, I mean, I just investigated things for 53,000 hours. 53,000 hours of research that mainly sort of looking at DNA. And that may sound boring to most people, but there was so much that's in there, and stuff to understand and how the whole thing works, you see. So finally somebody could have a better understanding of what goes on where DNA is and RNA, and what is this, and how does DNA and RNA made, and these sorts of things, what causes you to feel happiness and everything. But leptin's definitely going to be focused to learn a little more about what this is, what habits that you can have that cause more leptin function in your body. So it's not like, oh, I have to go out there to get these, but I'm naturally manufacturing these, you see. But everything like what we just talked about, it's like even the essential fatty acids we can make ourselves. Protein is made in our body. Fats are made in our body. Hydrogen is made in our body. And so this is something which is sort of more new, because you're starting to understand the gel state in a colloid state as well as a plasma state. And these are two more states of a colloid than what most people have thought of, which was just a liquid, gas, and a solid, you see.
What does DNA stand for again?
D-ribonucleic acid, you see. Yeah.
So it doesn't mean Democrats never again.
It could. Because you've got your DNCs and your DNAs, and you've got all the alphabet soup.
I just wanted to be clear. Thank you.
No,
for that.
but body politics are fictional, right?
Do we have politics in our bodies?
Well, body politic could be just an idea or an opinion, maybe.
Is
where
there
somebody is
political stuff going on?
But if it's based from you, from the land, we would all determine that for sure, because we would agree with you. And so we would say from, and now we're safe because it's from nature and it's from natural. But you could definitely, because how long does a liver take to renew itself?
Not long.
3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
3 weeks.
I like that.
So does everybody's
I'm going
liver
to celebrate
so it's
because of that.
brand new every 3 weeks. What about the skin on your hands?
3 weeks,
What about the skin on your hands?
I would imagine
every day.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a daily sort of thing.
That's
okay.
what I'm talking about.
But so what about your bones?
So when somebody says
every 7 years.
Yeah. Okay.
No
so
way.
There's degrees of how long you're
if
replaced.
somebody says, "Give me some skin," you really are giving them skin.
Yes, well, just imagine that you were a hound dog. You left behind yourself like a comet did.
Well, and don't commit any crimes.
It's like
without some gloves, because your skin is going to be everywhere.
Because your smell could be just like exact.
Now, if you got to smell
well,
it,
hound dogs have a lot of
lingers
room in their
in a
brain
crime
for
scene,
smells.
you deserve
They have a lot of room.
You
It's
deserve to
totally
get caught.
good. But if cell rejuvenation gets rid of all the compulsiveness, you see, because if you imagine a profile like we've been talking about, which is complete, it sort of doesn't have that feeling of compulsiveness where that is at all. It doesn't at all, you see, and so people feel more complete versus searching for a lot of stuff all the time and being Gray's horse.
Okay.
Just perpetually actually doing it. But why not have a tea or a coffee or do something that's like that? That's better. And eat once a day, because like these things, then like what we've been talking about naturally are more produced. Because what you said or we come to in the program was like where things are rested and they are put in the dark and just like aged, something matured comes along from it. And that molecule is so small, it's incredible, you see. Aged things can have quite a quality, as you know, so cheeses and all sorts of things, like incredible matter of fact.
Can bottles of wine mature at the same time, or do they do it at different times?
Oh my God, no. Wine can be so maturing in some ways of itself that nothing could be more powerful than the incredibleness of itself. Honest. I wish, but these people who really get into this, it is an incredible science, like a long way more than what you and I would think. There's so much in it, it's incredible, actually. Yeah, these people who do that as an art and stuff. Yeah, it's an alchemy.
So wine is
Absolutely.
good.
Well, things that were handcrafted, all sorts of things would, or have a value of something which has got a soul in it for sure. Versus, oh, it's just put through a machine, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and
What,
didn't
you're
have.
saying machines don't have souls?
Well, when something is more got a touch to itself, it's got a formulatedness, it's got somebody behind it. I mean, you want to buy something from Mrs. Field, but you don't want to buy something from Ajax Soup or something. I mean, no. So a name causes somebody to be behind something. It's sort of more feeling to us because it's like, oh no, somebody is behind this, means they're more verified in ourselves, where people or someone is overlooking something. It's called verified. It means somebody sensory based saw something.
Well, you know, now you got me thinking, right? When I shop for pie, I'm not going to buy a pie that says Ajax pie,
No,
right?
I mean, well,
so
corporations.
it's possible that we're missing out on some really good pies because they have a really bad name.
No, well, this is marketing a lot where people are. That's all. But you know, what the fineness is of what somebody's marketing, and it's going to have a good sell. It could be, Mrs. Fields
Good
or
time
somebody's
pie. That's what I'm talking about.
cookies
Good time
or
pie.
something. But
That's what I want. Not
that's an
the Ajax
example.
pie.
But dead food consumption which is outright, you see, and sort of. But if somebody lets the flesh and the bean go more as they can, they're reducing the amount of glutamate they have, and now their brain is going to function so much more powerful of itself. So just at this program, like it was mentioned by Sasha, he was saying things that, well, how do you, I mean, is there better habits? Kind of, yeah, there sure is, and that's endless itself. Should be a program about that, but it's the hardest thing somebody could do is to change their habits. And what can you do that can help you? That's what this program is about.
I think we should quit saying. I think we should quit saying the hardest thing to do is quit your habit. I think we should start saying the easiest thing to do is to change your habits.
Yes,
that's what we need to say.
That would be 1 in 10,000 because most of us, it's the biggest thing that we could understand.
If the Democrats would have done that,
but it would be
scaring
like
everybody.
No, but you see, I think but I have a feeling that it would be similar to kind of being aware of how many stupid actedness people is in the world. I'm not talking about beloved, but behavior.
No,
we're talking about behavior. No,
right now.
No,
Let's just be honest.
no, I'm only ever talking about myself and Sasha mainly because we got to catch up to you.
Well,
but
here's the deal. We got to find a spot.
How are you going to have?
We got to find a spot.
Oh, one thing is, by the way, do you know you've got enzymes that really can pack a powerful voltage, and that can atomize molecules that kind of in a metalloid state. It's kind of not so easy to get it out, and you have to clathrate things to help it work and stuff like this in cleansing.
How confident are you that you or somebody that knows how to do it can make a really inexpensive drink that would mimic Ozempic in a way that's holistic or naturally?
Oh yeah, because like folate, for instance,
So
has to
you're
have its
confident
enzyme.
this can be done?
Yeah, well, folate should have to be, no question about it, everybody knows that it has to be enzymatically active. Okay. The form that's not is very toxic. So people could start to have suddenly realised how supplements could be so dangerous, matter of fact. Okay. Like a lot of people have said in the past. But it's because it's not food. But food it should be because, it's got
That's
generally
the best
recommended
way
it's
to
safe.
ingest.
Yeah. So, but to make these molecules, you've got B9, like folate is B9, B6 is pyridoxine.
Sounds benign.
You've got pantothenic acid. You've got amygdalin, which is B17. You've got B12, which is cobalamin. Cobalamin is made from amygdalin, which is B17, converted in the intestine, the last 3 inches of the small intestine and things.
There you go.
And that's why they're making seedless fruits.
Now you know.
You've got things that people detoxing from, and which we could stop by only eating live food. Or you've got a lot of these toxins that we need to detox. But you've got heavy metals, and you've got cyanide. You've got a whole range of things which is substance abuse and things where something that is good maybe it's done too much or whatever. And then you've got metabolic detoxification, so metabolism and things which relate to what this is. And then you've got mycotoxic types of conditions, meaning like excrement from bacteria that are using your body as their sewer, which I know that last point.
Oh my
You
goodness.
don't like
Okay.
that. No, sorry. But-
auto intoxication with alcohol.
So,
There you
but you've
go.
got to have a detox program which has got 3 parts to itself. That's all. So, like, it's a recipe.
I like
it's something
3
which you would
parts.
want to really listen to into. So, take out your pencil, just pipe up right now, because you've got, detox, and you've got nanoenzymatic sort of life colloid, like we'll be talking about this program, okay? And it targets toxin. So first you've got to make it water soluble. So you have to have substance which is going to make those toxins water soluble. So that's one. This is water soluble clathrate, which you would never get just from without hydrogen. So you must have hydrogen in something for it to work. But if I'm hypochondriac so much that I can't have some sweet and I can feel the joy of what it is, or salt too, because salt less food, even if you've got a bit of rock salt, it's going to be better than salt less food. But you can't just continue to eat salt from rocks and stuff. See, this is not right. But let's be just gentle and relaxed, because it didn't have like sun-dried salt. And people go, no, I don't want to have that. It's like, please,
All
just
right,
relax.
there we go.
So,
He's losing that.
But you've got water-soluble intermediaries, that clathrate.
Okay.
Then you've got neutralization, you see, of those parts. That's all. That neutralization is very important, because that's the toxin comes to have to be clathrated and neutralized. So now it's not going to have its toxic effect like cyanide, all sorts of stuff, heavy metals. And now the body goes, what am I going to do with this? Are we going to get it cleared away, or do we have to atomize it? So it's 2 choices. So if it's going to be atomized, they've got to bring in the heavy voltage, and like lithium and fluorine can give you 4 volts, but lots of other things do, which got humic and fulvic acid and stuff in it, and things in magnesium, which if you think there is quite a science that can come about, which it does, more 6th generation product, which you call nutraceutical, and you're coming to see more terms like methylation and hydrolation.
Sasha,
and these sorts
I'd like
of
to
things.
thank you for being our special guest again today. And
My
of course,
pleasure.
we are going to have to continue this. And I'm sure you'll see it in another podcast. I want to leave everybody with, if it sounds like nonsense, it probably is nonsense. Check out our t-shirts, jubtalk.printify.me, and then we're going to start putting a lot of really cool stuff out there. Earlier I said between the moon and Houston, I'd rather go to Houston. I'm lying. I'd rather go to the moon. I love the moon. Jubb, could you please, Dr. Jubb, leave us with something simple that'll brighten our day?
Oh, I loved it when you said "in no sense." I think you said "in no sense."
If it
Innocence.
sounds like nonsense,
In no
it
sense.
probably
Oh,
is.
that's "in no sense."
Okay.
That's being in the present. You have to be in the present.
That's what I'm talking about,
So
being
this
the
is the
present.
gift.
I am,
So that's being
and
in
I'm
no
here.
sense. In no sense.
I
It's
am,
just like
and
present.
I care.
Yeah.
Hold on, Sasha. You got something good to leave us with? Before it turns to night and we're in the next day.
Sweetness.
Ooh.
Sweetness.
All right.
Sweetness.
Oh, sweetness is so amazing, because the lengthening the inspiration through your nose, like incredible. It's so amazing. With the breath out, it's sort of like a bit of an overwhelm, but lengthening the inspiration is like, oh my God, I'm so inspired. It's incredible.
I love it. Take us out.
As many of you know,
how long does it take from me how long does it take from me uploading a video to YouTube for YouTube to be able to transcribe the video for me?
Thanks, Lucas. My man. My man, my man. My man, my man, my man. Almost immediately. Oh. So, is this... content? Checking. Alright, it's still checking. Checking 45. Wow. Takes a while. 2 lemonades. Ozempic 55. Okay, it's good. It's going. I mean, 57.
A groundbreaking biohacking innovation has joined
Just got to get Jubb's speaking parts.
I might have asked you this before, but is there a service that will just transcribe a YouTube audio or any audio file for free? It's like an hour-long video, so it can't be short. Can't be one of these things. Oh, you can only do 10 minutes of video, but I can get the video to an audio if I need to. YouTube. When I copy the transcript and paste it, it's putting all of the time frames. So I'd have to go back and delete 19 pages, every other line being a sequence of numbers for the time of the video. Is there another way? I don't know what a Python script is, but what's the easiest way, I guess? The find and replace method, I don't think it's going to work because each timestamp is different. Control H. We'll go to find, edit, and replace. Edit, find, and replace. Edit. Find and replace. Let's go. it shortened it to 10 pages. This is a beauty. Wow. Oh, but this is for, let's see. Six pages, okay, even better.
2 hours. Okay. Good enough for now. Gotta take a nap.